What's up, guys? Today I went at my local treasure cup. I went 5-0 with Vegapunk. This deck, probably one of my favorite decks, actually is my favorite deck ever. I know this channel has been pretty much solely purple black Luffy stuff. I took a long break from posting that kind of stuff because at first I wanted to keep this channel only purple black Luffy, and I felt I wasn't performing good enough when recording. It kind of distracted me, I guess. So I've been just playing without recording, and I've been playing a bunch of Vegapunk since EB-02 came out with the buffs. It's felt great. My matchups today, I won all 5 rounds. Round 1 was a mirror, super grindy matchup. I actually ended up losing the dice roll, went first, and I defended my way out. We went to time. He started turn 0. I was turn 3. I put 1 life to my life pile, and boom, passed my turn. Game was over. I had 1 more life than him, and yeah. Second round, went up against Shanks. Went first, won the dice roll, chose to go first. Played out a bunch of 6k bodies, swing at face. Eventually he ran out of cards, and he didn't even hit 10 Dawn. He lost on his 8 Dawn turn, which was very great. Went up against Lucci in round 3, securing a 3-0 after that. I kind of just rushed him down and KO'd his board whenever he really got anything set up. So yeah, just swing face, whole bunch with my 6k, 5k bodies, swinging like 4 times a turn hurts. Run their hand size down and then just snag the win right out from under him. And then 4th round, I went up against Katakuri. My game plan going into Katakuri is if they're going to burn my life, I might as well play with none anyway. So keep their board very limited on swings and play with 1 life almost all game. Once they hit their 10 mom, you start just playing with blockers. So that's kind of my game plan for that. Ended up squeaking it out. They got a couple clutch triggers. I also got 2 very clutch triggers in life. My life was Shaka Rayquaza. He had moved my Rayquaza from the top to the bottom, and then my life ended up just being in the end 2 Rayquaza, so he wasn't able to swing through that. So won that one, and then going into the finals, I was actually the only 4-0 because of how the matchups ended up going. There was 3 3-0s, and one of them got down paired and lost. So it ended up being the final against the guy who ended up losing his down pair, against GP Luffy. Again, I won dice roll, went second. He got stage and pudding out. Sanji pudding, super rough, but I just focused on swinging face every single chance I could. Eventually worked his hand down. He had nothing, and I went for a game. So yeah, 5-0. The deck played wonderfully. I feel like this list is so consistent and just really gets you what you want to see like 90% of the time. But yeah, let's go over the list. Here's this is the Treasure Cup winner card. Very awesome. Super happy to get it. And yeah, so let's do it. So obviously the leader, if you don't know what the leader does, he cannot attack. He starts with 2 life, and for 1 Dawn, you can play out a 5-cost body or less. Or you can add it to your life for 1 Dawn. Amazing ability. So as a 4-0, we run a lot of 4-0s, the Egghead package. So we run a 4-0 of the Searcher Lilith, 3 costs, 5k power, no counter, trigger, play it, and then it's just a look at the top 5, grab an Egghead card. Card comes up all the time. You can play it off of other cards in this deck. This is a scientist, so you are able to use that new blocker Vegapunk in EB-02. And that it's super strong when you are down and need cards in hand. Boom, here's this card. Going second, you can use leader ability, play something out, and then for your last 3 Dawn, you can still play this out and search top 5. Super strong card. It's really annoying too, because once it's out, I just end up swinging 5 at it a bunch, and if they KO it, it's in my trash to get brought back out by a couple other cards. So there's 4 of those. We run 4 of the new EB-02 Vegapunk blocker. It is a 1k counter, 0 power. A blocker, on play, search the top 5 for a scientist card, play it, and then if your opponent has 2 or less, characters, discard 1 card. So this card comes up 90% of the time. Its trigger is only draw 1. If it was play this card, that would be disgustingly broken. But yeah, so this card, it's a blocker that can play out things like Shaka, whose trigger is play this card. But he is also a scientist, so you can play him off of that. 2 blockers for essentially 1 Dawn if you play it off leader ability. Super duper duper strong. This card is great. It's a blocker. It triggers out of life. And you can play it off of that Vegapunk. So, boom. Another awesome, juicy blocker. Then, another 4 of is this Atlas card. Super hard to take out of play because it cannot be KO'd in battle if you're at less life. And since you start with 2, 90% of the time you will be. So yeah, super sticky card to just stay out. It's bad against like black decks, obviously. And some yellow because they could just KO it with their abilities. But sticks against Shanks. Super good card against Shanks. Great against PB Luffy because it sticks. Or PB Luffy. Grape Luffy. But yeah, this is playable off of the Vegapunk, which is awesome. Another 4 of is this Pythagoras. On KO, if you have 2 or less life cards, play an Egghead from your trash with a cost of 4 or less. So you can play out your Searcher, or there's a couple other cards. The 2Ks in this deck are all 4 costs. So this card, super great against black and yellow decks because if they KO it, you're just putting out another body. That'll inevitably probably either search the top 5 or draw 2, trash 2. Like, great stuff. So this card's super annoying and even sticky against a lot of decks in the meta. So those are all of your like main scientist attackers. We run a 4 of as a 2K, the Edison right here. I only have 1 of the winner cards. I want to get more, but that's all right. So yeah, 2K. If you have 2 or less life, draw 2, trash 2. You can use it early game to cycle your hand out if you get a bad start. If it's in your trash, you can bring it out with Pythagoras, which is huge. It's a scientist. You can play it off the blocker if you literally see nothing else. And yeah, it's a nice little card. Does its thing. And yeah, trigger, play this card. So another great card. Here is where it gets a little interesting. I only run 3 of the 2K Frankie. This card, while being a 2K, in this deck, I feel like... Now, these are the only 2Ks we run. We only run 7 2Ks. This deck, in my opinion, it's either like... Since you're playing out so many cards and adding so many cards to your life, it's super duper easy to just let something die or take the life because you're either getting a body or like you're just going to replenish the board, so I feel like counter isn't a huge thing in this deck, since you're just taking most of the things anyway and flooding your board out as much as you can. So I only run 3. It has a good trigger, which is draw 1, then if I have 1 or less life, play this card. So it can come up clutch, but really I just use it as a 2K most of the time. And yeah, so that's 3 of those. And then here are my KO Egghead cards. We run for this Nami. It is a must-have. You trash a trigger card, which is literally every card in this deck but 4. You trash a trigger card, KO a 5 cost, which is huge. That kills their Sanji Pudding if they don't have a stage in play. That KOs things like Smoker, the Banished Smoker, KOs Carrots, KOs pretty much all the big things you need to KO in this meta. So it's super great. Love this card. It also draws you a card if, you just have 3 or less cards in hand, which you're going to be at a low card count a lot of the time anyway. So great card. We have 4 of the Rocket Luffy. This card is also great. You play it out. Boom, you're swinging 6. It's another one of your 6K swing bodies. And then if they play out a Chump blocker or like Rebecca blocker, really anything like that, you can swing and then pop himself to KO a 4 cost or less, and then you get to draw a card if you're at, you get to draw a card after that. So super awesome. It's trigger, KO a 4 cost, it's all right. Not really nice to see early game because you want to play out a body usually, but it's cool. I like it at 4. I tried it at 2, tried it at 3. It was fine at 3. Figured I'd just play it safe and play 4 just because that KO power late game is so strong when you just like top deck some, play it out for 1, KO their only blocker or something. But this card's great. It comes up in so many matchups that just, it does damage, and KO is one of the little things they have out, which is awesome. We run a 1 of the S-Snake. It's basically one of those cards that, like, in this deck, you want to put up a bunch of blockers, stop them from hitting you. This is just a nice little 1 of, plus I have the alt art. It stops the swing. Simple as that. Can't be a Monkey D. Luffy, which sucks with the new EB-02 Luffy, but it can stop a Sanji Pudding swing if they don't have, if you don't see your Nami and they don't have stage. It can stop Kuzan swing. It can stop any when attacking swing. Pretty much like any of them except for anything that's Luffy. But it's just a nice card. It stops a swing, and that's what you want to do with this deck. I also run 2 of this EB-02 Sanji blocker. If you go second, and you're always going to be at 2 or less life for his on play, which is 2 or less life, draw 2, trash 1. You're pretty much always going to be able to get to do that. And all you have to do is, like, if you're going second, your 6 Dawn turn, play out 1 of these, and then you have leader ability to play out a card or add a card to life. Super great card. I like it at 2. I've seen somebody play it at 4, and I was like, that's interesting. But I think at 2 it's solid. I love the alt art of this card too, so I'm gonna have to get those. But yeah, great card here, especially since you just want to keep putting out blockers. Late game, it helps you draw 1 card. Here's a card that I'm not still stuck on. It did come up a handful of times. It's the 8-cost Kid. On play, rest himself, trash 1 of the opponent's top life. Or if your opponent has 2 or less life cards at the end of your turn, draw 1, trash 1. The draw 1, trash 1 has hurt me. Since it's mandatory, I've had a Shaka on the very top of my deck and an Rayquaza in life, so I would play out Vegapunk, and then I would play out Shaka off of it, but this made me draw it and trash it because I had no cards in hand. You know, that happens. But this card, if they have like 1 card in hand and 2 life, you can, all your 6K swings, you can use this, boom, they lose their life, and then you just map it out from there. So it's a good card. These are the only 4 cards that don't have a trigger in this deck. And this card does its thing when it needs to. You draw a lot also, so usually you'll bump into it. If not, it's not the end of the world. You don't need it every time. But very good in the yellow too. And then lastly, for events, we have 4 Rayquaza. For 1 Dawn, you can use it as a counter if you have 2 or less life. Up to 1 of your leader or characters gain plus 3,000. So it's an easy 3K counter. And then its trigger, you can use leader ability, put it into your life, play 1 Egghead type character from your trash with a cost of 5 or less. Insane. You can put it in your life, right? They hit you, you play out Vegapunk, he plays out 1, 2, 3, or 4. Or 5. Super strong. It keeps you in the game like crazy. And then yeah, if you need to, use it as counter. So I love this card. This card makes this deck what it is, really. And then we have 2 of the He Possesses the World's Most Brilliant Mind. It's a 1 cost. Look at the top 5 for an Egghead, so helps you find your cards. Super simple trigger. Late game, it can be bricky, or you can use it, just play it for 1 Dawn, search the top 5, find the KO card for their blocker, and then play it out for 1. So 2 Dawn, you looked at the top 5 and played out a KO card. Super big, can come up in the clutch. But we also have Darishi at 2, finds 2 trigger cards off the top 5. Busted in this deck. Everything's a trigger except for these 4 cards right here. And then to finish it off, the last card we have is the Egghead Island. I've seen a lot of lists recently just have searchers and no Egghead Islands, and I think Egghead Island is such a good card. Saves you from Electrical Luna. Like if they Electrical Luna your board, 1 of your people will at least be stood up because you have played Egghead. It restands your little like your little swingers, like your Liliths or your Namis or your Edisons or Frankies. It can like restand your Luffy so it doesn't get KO'd, and then you can use his ability. Especially with Shaka, you can swing with Shaka and then restand Shaka. So boom. I think this card's great, and I like it at 2 because you have a lot of search and a lot of draw, so you'll definitely probably be finding it most of the time. And yeah, this was my 50 card list to take down my local treasure cup. Yeah, let me know if you have any comments below. I'll probably be posting more. I didn't record this treasure cup. I wish I had, since I won, but there will be more, probably more Vegapunk stuff in the future. But for now, this is where my list is at, and this is my first tournament win on my channel with it. So yeah, there we go. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for more content. Bye-bye.